Hello, good morning. Welcome to Cockerel Doodle Doo on this Friday, the 26th of January, and it is Australia Day. And so we have a very not really Australian guest.
Oh, we don't, do we?
No, would have been good.
Ian's got his song on, but that means a totally different thing.
Yeah.
I'll identify as a kangaroo if that helps.
That might help. I think. Yeah. I think that will definitely be, yes, that's right. And Jose, right? if you can do like a koala, right? I can do Ayers Rock.
Yeah.
It's not Ayers Rock, it's called Uluru, isn't it? Yes. And Ben, I don't know, the Sydney Opera House. There you go. That's fantastic. I'm glad we managed to start the show by insulting our Australian colleagues by reducing their culture down to 4 iconic things. Welcome. Good morning. Yes, so it's match day. Oh, FA Cup 4th round. How are you guys feeling? Let's start. Let's go around. Jose, how are you doing? Welcome.
Good morning, everyone. Glad to be on. Good morning, everyone in the chat. I am happy. The last 2 weeks have felt like an international break again, and it's match day. I so much look forward to when we play football, and I'm looking forward to tonight.
Fantastic. Ian.
Yeah.
How's things north of the border where you are?
Yeah, absolutely wonderful. It's even stopped raining for the first time in 3 years, 2 months, 4 days and 3 hours. But on a serious note now, I'm with Jose on this. Absolutely. It's and it's nice to wake, the last 2-3 years you're woken up, it's match day and you think, it's match day. Now we've just all got that spring in our step, all that excitement, and I don't know, we'll talk about the game no doubt, but I've got a feeling we're going to do it and do it well tonight, and I love that feeling, that positivity that's all around the club, everything that we're doing, everything. It's wonderful.
I must admit that I've got a few butterflies in my stomach. How about you, Ben? How are you feeling about the match tonight?
Good. It's an interesting week. It's nice to end on a crescendo of the week that on Cockerel Doodle Doo, we've had a different host every single day this week, which just means we're the new Have I Got News for You. We're the new Have I Got News for You, which is official. Yes. But in regard,
Have I Cockerel Doodle Doo for you?
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah.
Rebrand.
And to be fair, this is actually my debut as the host of Cockerel Doodle Doo as well. So it's a momentous day. It's Australia Day. It's Bill Nicholson's birthday. And it's also the debut of me on Cockerel Doodle Doo.
Yeah.
Some amazing things going on. Lots of people in the chat. Lots of people in the chat. But one of them is a new member. Tigaro. Thank you for becoming a member. Remember, guys, there is membership. There is memberships. There are memberships. I can't even get my plural straight. There was memberships. There could be memberships. Memberships. If they're there, find them, secure them. It'll do you good. Obviously, there's great content coming out from Tottenham on Tour in our TOT24 campaign, I think is probably the best way of putting it. We've got Anger Management tomorrow morning, looking over tonight's game. Don't know what's going to happen, but Johnny and Brian are gonna sort that out for you. And then every weekday next week, Cockerel Doodle Doo, 9 a.m. And we've also got our transfer deadline day special coming at you too. So keep an eye out for that. So
who needs Sky Sports?
Who needs Sky Sports? Absolutely.
Exactly, Wes' conscience.
That's
exactly.
it. You know, you've got Ben, you've got Brian, you've got the other Brian, you've got I was going to say you got me, but you know that's probably a bit turn off really. But you got Brian, Ben, and Brian anyway.
Yeah.
So let's get into it, chaps. Let's have a look at the Man City game. That's coming up first. Who wants to kick us off? A preview of the Man City game. Ian, you can go first. Talk to us about what you think is going to be on the cards for tonight.
I think it will be a great game. I mean, I think that's the thing. Pep and Ange have similarities in style, the way they play. I think I'll be interested at it's an 8 o'clock kickoff, isn't it? Is it 8?
It is, yeah.
7, yeah. At 7 o'clock when the teams come out to see how strong a team Manchester City play. Will they risk De Bruyne? Will they want to play De Bruyne? Haaland apparently is out. But, I mean, let's be honest. Whatever team they put out, it will be a strong team. I'm expecting... It's funny, look at that. Perfect, the comments in the chat on the bottom there. I'm expecting Maddison to start. So, yes, we could be slightly weaker in midfield, but I mean, if he goes with something like Benty, in the 6, and Decky and Maddison as the two 8s, Solomon's back as well. Maybe start with the 3 that he started with last week. But one of the problems we've had over the last few weeks with a number of injuries, suspensions, and now with international call-ups, is there's been no real backup on the bench. You know, there's been nothing on the bench that we can bring on that might change the game. We're still slightly light in midfield, slightly light up front, but we're starting to get there in terms of personnel, the number of personnel and the quality. That's the important thing. I'm expecting us to win. I really am. I'm not nervous yet. I will be. I will be when the kickoff comes. The source said on Twitter this morning, win this, we win the cup. I think that's a little bit presumptuous. You know, you can get Liverpool away in the next round and that won't be easy. But I think if we can win today, we haven't drawn a lower league club yet in the cup, a lower league club in the 5th round. Let's not get too far ahead of ourselves, but we've all got a good feeling, haven't we, that this is this could be a year. I'm optimistic and I'm really looking forward. Really looking forward to it. Really looking forward to the game.
Yeah. So, for instance, there's as Ian just alluded to, and we've even got it in the comments as well. You know, Nick is saying that the winner of this cup tie lifts the cup. Basically, Jose, do you think that's accurate? Do you think essentially it's whoever wins this tie is the one who lifts the cup? Bear in mind, I think Liverpool are still in it. Are they not?
Yeah, they are.
Yeah. So obviously, Arteta's been dumped out of it, which was hilarious.
Yeah.
But yeah, what do you think? What do you think, Jose? Do you think it's this tie that decides the winners?
I'd like to think so, in our favour, but there's still a lot of Premiership teams still left in it. I mean, there's another big game. We're the biggest game tonight, but Chelsea are playing Villa tonight, so there's another all Premiership tie again tonight. Tomorrow, Everton are playing Luton, another all Premiership tie. Newcastle, Fulham, another all Premiership tie. So it depends. I mean, some of the Premiership teams are going to go by the wayside after this round.
That's right.
So it will reduce the amount of Premiership sides left in it, but when you still got the likes of Liverpool in it, you can't take things for granted. To win the cup, you have to play and beat everyone that's put in front of you at every round. and this is just another hurdle today. I quite honestly don't care what other teams do. I don't care what other teams field, what teams they field and put out. The only thing I care about is Tottenham and what we do. And so therefore tonight I'm hoping that we go strong. We played Man City at the Etihad and we drew 3-3 away, and that was without Van de Ven, Romero, Bentancur, just to name a few. And we've got them, and Maddison. Yeah, we've got all these players back tonight. So I think apart from maybe Son and Sarr, who may be starting 11 players, we've got 9 of what we would call our starting 11 playing tonight. And that's a big difference to what we had when we went up against Man City at the Etihad. We're at home, and the home support that we have, or that we've had this season, has been absolutely immense. And at times, the crowd do act like the 12th and 13th man. I'm hoping that's the case again tonight. I'm hoping that we start off strong like we normally do at home. And then we go for it. I'm not going to give you my prediction yet because that'll probably come later. But I'm looking forward to what we do, not what others do.
Good point.
Absolutely, Ben. Is it going to be decided on the crowd? Are we going to have to? Well, obviously, I can't make it tonight. I'm going to have to watch it on television. But the faithful, is it up to us to make it a cauldron?
It should always be a cauldron.
Frighten the citizens. There is
no reason why tonight shouldn't be a cauldron. It's a Friday night. Most people are not working tomorrow. If you go by the general community that is Tottenham Hotspur Football Club in terms of the fan base, there will be fans working tomorrow, of course, but the majority of fans will not be working at the weekend. There is no reason to have a nice jolly, go out to the pub, have a few drinks, and shout at Manchester City for 90 minutes, or possibly 120 minutes because it can go to extra time and penalties. If we don't play well, we need to make today a really good atmosphere. The boys need it. It's Manchester City. It's a big game. This is a big game of football in the modern era, especially with Man City being the powerhouses they are until they get relegated, hopefully, with alleged charges. But we won't get to that. We need to be up for it tonight. We need to be up for it. There is no excuses.
What do you make of this? I mean, there's been talk about the fact that, it's a bigger allocation for Man City. They filled their allocation. There's 9,000.
They always do, though. Man City have got a big fan base away from home. They've got a big fan base. Loyal, big, and they will be loud. Is that gonna have an effect? Do you think the fact that it's going to be? I think it's about 3,000 more than a league allocation. I might have got that wrong, but do you think that will have an effect? You know, are they particularly noisy? I don't think actually that's not true. I have watched us play Man City live at White Hart Lane actually, but yeah, do you think that's going to make a difference? You never know, but City do have a really good fan base, and I'm not gonna question Manchester City's loyalty over the years of them being relegated and filling stadiums in League One for 50,000 almost at some points. They're a very good fan base, but it's up to us. It's up to us to make it a cauldron. If they can hear Manchester City fans, it's down to us. There's far more of us than there are of them. We've got an entire side of the ground which is more than their away end, which is designed to make noise. So if we can't make noise, that's on us. That's not on anyone. That's on us. We need to be making a noise.
If anyone was at the ground, the Arsenal game was at maybe 22, was it?
Yeah.
When we beat them 3-0.
Oh yeah.
And the noise in the ground that night was something else. I mean, even watching it back, I was in the ground, but watching it back on catch up, and Gary Neville saying, this place is just rocking, So I expect it to be like that tonight. Absolutely expect it to be like that tonight.
Is it quite as a frenetic? I mean, definitely. I mean, I was at that game. That was it. I came out of that almost floating on air because the atmosphere was so intoxicating. It was crazy to be part of that. To be part of that noise, and I sit in the West Stand, traditionally not the noisiest stand, which I try to change as a one-man loudhailer. It's a different set of circumstances, though, Jose. I mean, or Jose, sorry. Is there enough impetus in our fan base to actually make similar levels of noise? I mean, I'd love that. That would be fantastic. Do we have it? Are we going to do that tonight?
Yeah, we certainly have it. I think the support, I mean, it gets dialed down a bit on television, but it depends where you watch the game. But you can hear the support. The support's been absolutely immense. I mean, Ben goes, and Rez, you go to games as well, so you guys would know this. But to translate it to everybody in the chat that doesn't get to go to the games, yes, the support this season has been absolutely phenomenal. Yeah, even in the games that we've been losing, against Villa at home, against Chelsea at home, the support, you could still hear the crowd through that as well. The support's been immense, and it will be again tonight. I have no doubts about it at all. It will be again tonight. Whether it reaches the levels that we did against Arsenal, because Arsenal's a different animal, isn't it? When you're playing Arsenal, they're your biggest or your local rivals, and it's your derby, your absolute derby game. So the levels are going to be frenetic, I would have thought, at Arsenal rather than the other team. However, I still believe that with the crowd, we can come close to replicating that, although we are playing Man City, it's not Arsenal we're playing.
Don't forget there was a bit of righteous indignation with the Arsenal game, with the fixture shenanigans and so on and so forth.
Yeah, that's right. There was. Yeah, there was.
As his conscience is speaking facts.
Hello.
Yes, she is indeed. Yes.
Hi, Kim.
Hi, Kim.
Hi,
Kim.
A good morning to my conscience.
Yeah.
It doesn't usually kick in for me this early on. Usually I'm still in bed at this point anyway. 9 o'clock. Who's together by then? You can still taste the toothpaste. So Tigaro, thank you very much for the super chat. That's great, and that leads us very nicely into our next section. But before we get there, again, do please try, guys, in the chat, if you can, if you've got 2 minutes. Once the stream's over, just refresh the page and just put a little comment at the bottom. Give us some feedback. Tell us how we're doing. If you'd like to see specific things on Cockerel Doodle Doo, comments absolutely help the channel so much. Helps with our engagement. And helps us to keep bringing you high quality content, which is what we do. So after the stream, if you could just give us a little comment as well and a little like, that would be fantastic. So the starting 11, here we go. Starting 11 predictions. Ben, Tigaro has gone with Vicario in goal, Udogi, Van de Ven, Romero, and Porro. Bentancur, Kulusevski, Madders in the middle, with Timo Werner, Richie, and Brennan Johnson out on the right. Do you agree with that? Or do you think there's going to be things? Yes, absolutely. Actually, my conscience just said, amazing. We have options again now. So, is that the lineup that you'd go with, or would you change?
I think Ange will play Ollie Skip in place of Dejan Kulusevski. What I'm thinking, I think Dejan Kulusevski will play on the right instead of Brennan Johnson, and I think Ollie Skip will play in that number 8 role because Ange doesn't play too physical. I know the system plays 2 number 8s in that sort of behind the striker role. He's going to play an 8 that works about, but he usually plays a Sarr. I don't expect him to play Højbjerg because he won't get about the pitch quick enough. So I'm expecting Bentancur, Ollie Skip, and then Maddison with front 3 of Werner, Richarlison, and Kulusevski. And I think that would be a really balanced team. And I think that's what I would suggest.
Interesting. You say that you put Ollie Skip in there. I'm assuming that would be in order to provide some shielding for the defence as well.
No, it's work rate. You need someone that's going to be getting about the pitch. You need someone that gets about the pitch and closes people down. And Kulusevski and Maddison don't really do that. You need someone that's going to be doing the dog work.
Right. So there's one player that came in January that hasn't really been mentioned very much. Ian, do you reckon that there could be a place in the squad for in the starting 11 for Dragushin at all?
Starting 11, no, not tonight. No, I alluded to in my introduction. That's my starting 11. But Ben makes a good point. I mean, thank God Ellie's not in the house, because suggesting that even hinting that Højbjerg might not get around the pitch quick enough, which he doesn't. But that's an interesting call, because certainly Skip will give a bit more energy, defensive energy in there. But Decky works incredibly hard.
He does.
He does work incredibly hard. I'll stick with the starting 11 that was on screen. Thiago's is it? Tagaro, right? Okay, his starting 11. That's what I alluded to in my introduction. So I'll stick with that. But Ben makes a good point. Well, about Skip, bringing in Skip. I'll trust the manager on this. And that's one of the things, just going back with the atmosphere in the ground, is if you go in knowing you're going to see a good game of football, knowing your team's going to be on the front foot and giving it and going at the opposition, rather than, as Blanchflower said, sitting back and waiting for the other team to die a border. It's a completely different dynamic when you get into the ground. So, yeah.
Just to reply to Tiger, I actually believe there is no replays. There is no replays. It goes straight to extra time and penalties. I've read an article. And when they were in talking about the West Ham Bristol City game, the commentator said outright, luckily it's not in the next round, because it goes to extra time. I believe these games now, they changed the rule in 2018, something like that. I can't physically remember. If people have the full rules, we'll go by it. But I think there is no replay. There are no replays.
Okay, there you go. No replays tonight. So, Jose, for yourself, do you agree with Ben, or do you see a different lineup?
I like the team. The team that Tigaro put up is the team that I would prefer to see. So if I was shouting an 11, that's my preferred 11. Totally agree with what Ben said about the possibility of Skip coming in and playing instead of Decky, and Decky moving up and playing instead of Johnson. So I totally agree with that. However, I do think that there is an argument to play Dragusin and push either Porro or Udogie up into the midfield three. I think there is a case for that to happen. Not sure whether that'll happen this early on, but I think that's something we could see in the future, because our players are adaptable and can play several different positions. I mean, the two guys that we've got playing at fullbacks at the moment are not really fullbacks, are they? They're a lot of the time they're galloping majors, and they're the most forward player in our team. So yeah, there's different ways to skin a cat, and we've got a team with players that can skin cats differently.
Yeah, sorry, just coming in there. Someone's put it in. Free Fall's just coming. It's in the chat. I've googled it too. The Daily Mirror's got a piece. There are replays for the fourth round. From the fifth round onwards, there's no replays.
Stupid, isn't it? You'd think it'd be the other way around. Makes no sense.
Right. Okay. So it looks like
it is what it is, Ben. There's replays of the third and fourth, not on the fifth.
I mean, they changed the rules so often as well, and there's no consistency. It's mad, isn't it? So, but
talk about you don't know what you're doing.
Yeah, exactly. So the question is it? I'm guessing in that case it's 90 minutes replay then.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
Okay.
Jose, who's their biggest threat? I mean, obviously, Man City is almost all threat these days, seeing as they've basically bought all the good players, even players they don't really need, like Calvin Phillips. Who's their biggest threat? Where does their threat come from? Obviously, Haaland is out. Now, I think Haaland is not massively overrated, but I think he is overrated in as much as he's not as good as everyone says he is. But
he's an elite goal scorer, though. He's an elite goal scorer, but he's not.
Yeah, no denying that. Absolutely. But that group is a lot bigger than just Haaland. The sort of the noises that were being made when he first signed for them the season before, it was almost like this was the coming of the god of football, and he's anything but. I would argue that Harry Kane is showing him that he's actually better than him. But that's a different argument. But Haaland not here. question marks over KDB. He could be back. He might not be back. He might be fully fit. Might still be rusty. Where's the biggest threat coming from, Jose?
I think the game, like any football match, right? I think the games are won and lost in midfield, and I think tonight it will be. It depends on Bentancur and Rodri. Who stifles who? If Bentancur is allowed to play, fantastic for us. If Rodri's allowed to play and dictate, then that's not so fantastic for us.
Right.
So I think the games are won and lost in midfield. For me, it's Rodri. The linchpin for them. If he plays, it'll be Rodri. I'm not worried about. I'm not worried about any of them, Rez. But you've asked me the question, so I'm going to say Rodri over KDB, over Haaland's,
Rodri's
over
the best
Alvarez,
footballer in the world.
over Doku's, over everyone that they've got. The only person that dictates games for them is Rodri. And so therefore, to me, as I said, midfield, won and lost in midfield most games. And it's seeing what Bentancur and Rodri look like tonight.
Excellent. Ian?
Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, I agree about Rodri and, of course, Kevin De Bruyne. Someone put in the chat there, not sure Kevin De Bruyne is ready for 90 minutes. And I suspect that's right. Whether he'll come on and do a 60-minute, I call it a cameo, but, get an hour and see how he goes. The reason I'm a little bit reticent is I'm not sure of the team that Pep will put out. And that's why I'm a little bit hesitant, because they're not playing at their best, although they show signs of it. Are they fourth in the league? Are they fourth?
Yeah,
they're not exactly,
right,
they're not exactly looking like retaining their title. They've still got the Champions League. Will Pep think, I can't go for it on three fronts again? With the positions I'm in, I can't do three fronts. Away to Tottenham is about as difficult as it gets. That I'm better off concentrating on trying to get back to win the league. A European Cup or a Champions League and League double would still be a phenomenal achievement. And I just have a sneaking suspicion he may not play anything like his best team. It's just what I think. They've not been on all cylinders, playing a top team, risking De Bruyne getting injured again, and then losing the game and losing him, because they've no doubt that they're a way better side when he's in it. Way better side.
Yeah.
So we will play a full side. We've got no European football to worry about or anything. Winning the cup and getting up the league, it shouldn't be difficult with our players coming back. Players been injured or rested, they're fresh going into the second half of the season. So that's why I'm a little bit reticent. Yeah, if De Bruyne plays Rodri in that midfield, absolutely right. Games are won and lost in midfield, and that would make it very, very difficult. But Sean Slater says they absolutely plays a reserve keeper as well. I mean, the reality is City playing their reserve team. They've got players off their bench that are excellent players, and we talked about Calvin Phillips earlier. He could barely get off the bench. Was he on it that often? I'm trying to remember.
It's a really comfy chair.
Doing it again, is it? Yeah.
Well, this is another question. But I saw some. I can't remember where it was. I think it was a video. Some might have been TalkSport, but I'm not sure. Saying that essentially because Man City, last season went out there and won everything, sort of did that treble or whatever it was that they did last season, that might have led to an element of jadedness in the Man City squad.
It may have been.
Was it you, Ian? There you go.
I felt that all season with them, Rez, that getting motivated every week, every game, when you've got, your 38 league games, your 12, whatever it is, 14 Champions League games, plus the FA Cup, when everybody's gunning for you. It's not easy. It's not easy when you go home and you look at your trophy cabinet for anybody, however professional you are. So, yeah, it was me. I've made that point a couple of times.
So Ben, he's gone. I was about to ask him.
I'll answer it.
So I was just going to say that and then lead in, do you think that's Do you think that's might be happening at Man City because they've not been firing on all cylinders, but at the same time, this is what Man City do. They sort of, it's almost like the carbon copy negative of Arsenal, who start strongly and then crumble round about the new year. Man City, they don't necessarily start the best.
Yeah,
they
slow
sort of off the pace, and then at the end of the season, they suddenly come alive and just win everything, every game.
They always do it. It's the unfairness of the Manchester City squad that they're figuring things out. They're figuring out the best tactics for the league that year because tactics change like every single game because of new methods and new this and new that. Come March, Manchester City players they just look around at each other. Right, lads. It's Rodri. Rodri he puts his Baker Boy hat on and he goes full top. Right, lads. Do you want to win the league now? And they're like, right, mate. And then they win 15 games in a row. They always do it. They do it every season.
Surely with a name like Rodri, the accent would be, come on then, boys. Let's see if we can do this, shall we?
I didn't realise Rodri was
Racist.
He was. He is. He's very much.
Right, lads, let's win and then go to the Garrison.
Yeah,
right, come on then, lads. All right. We're going to win this for Manchester City.
We can all sing in the valleys, you know.
Yes.
We got
a
quick big up to Chang Chen Seung for his super chat. Greets to Mr. Kaufman, Mr. Meth, and Senor Garcia. I think you forgot someone there, Chang.
He did.
Yes. Oh well, it is my debut, so let's be fair. It's all good. It's all good. Right, chaps. What else are you looking for? Who's our threat? Where's our threat coming from? We talked about Man City's threat. What about us? What danger do we pose to Man City? Where is our threat coming from? Ian. And is Maddison? Yeah, is he gonna? Is it? Let's incorporate that. Do you start Maddison? And where's
again? Yeah, something I've said. This might sound crazy, but I think Ange will still be disappointed at what he's getting in the opposition final third. I think he'll be looking for a lot more in terms of the speed with which we attack, the speed and the ability to get behind defenders. It's not. I don't think the reason he's brought Werner is as much for his speed as anything else and his ability to get behind defences. That's what Ange Ball is really about, and getting Porro and getting Johnson. I know Johnson's been a disappointment so far, but give the kid a chance to get going. It might be interesting if he's got Maddison playing little balls in behind the fullbacks that he can get in there, because there's no doubt he can play. But I think with Maddison back, we have missed him terribly. And getting the ball behind the defenders quickly and getting the ball low into the box with players coming in from midfield and from the opposite wing. Johnson or Porro get behind the defence, balls across. Richarlison's coming in, Maddison's coming in, Werner's coming in to slide into the net. That's Ange Ball. And I think there's a lot more to come from us in that sense. He's had a couple of weeks to work since the last game, so I'm so optimistic about tonight. I mean, I hope pride comes before a fall and all that, but I think we'll be up for it. I know people saying in the chat he'll play a strong team. He may well do, and it's right. They've got 15% of the crowd, so they've got 9,000 supporters there. Very difficult to play a weak side when 9,000 people come up, but. Or come down for the game. It would be Manchester United, they would be coming up, but Manchester City actually come down. There's a lot more to come. That's why I'm so optimistic about tonight and about the rest of the season. We'll go for it. Yeah.
Excellent. Ben,
yes.
Where's our threat coming from? Where's our danger? What's the danger that we pose to Man City?
Pace.
On the football field, not morally, obviously.
We have better Star Wars ethics.
There you go. Yes,
and we are very good as a pacey team. We are a very pacey team, and we've got players that can cause them harm. We're great aerially as well with Richarlison. It's whether we can start crossing the ball into him. If we can get set pieces, especially with Maddison back, and we fire balls into the box, I think we can cause them a lot of damage. It's Manchester City. They're always going to be favourites in most aspects of the game. But if we play to our strengths, which is getting those, we will get there. But we should be firing balls into the box. Porro as well, taking corners. Maddison takes corners. We need to whip balls into Richarlison. If we whip balls into him in the air, he will score goals.
Fantastic. Jose?
Absolutely everywhere. Everywhere. You've got aerially, as Ben just said, he's not the tallest, but Romero's an absolute beast and a monster in an opposition's penalty box. Van der Ven's 6'4". He's going to be a threat in the opposition's penalty box. So from corners, we're going to be a threat. You've got Porro and a doggy, which I alluded to earlier. Sometimes they're a point of reference, so they're the highest up the pitch. So they're going to be popping up everywhere. And then in midfield, if you've got Mabbers playing and spraying the ball around, Bentancur for me is the G. You've got the shithousery from and the hold-up play and the shithousery that comes with Decky. You've got the speed from Werner and Johnson. You've got the shithousery and in the air from Richarlison. We have got threats all over that pitch. It's not just one particular area. We've got threats absolutely everywhere. And if we play to our best ability, and I do agree also with what Ian said, that Ange's come out press conference after press conference. He's remained steadfast and the same all the way through, saying that defensively, as a team, we defend quite well. He's happy with the link-up play and defence and stuff for the whole team, but we still haven't quite clicked with our forward play, and that's frightening because we're the third top goal scorers and we haven't clicked.
No.
Speaking of his press conferences as well, the comment he made yesterday, did anyone hear what the actual question was when he says that's about 7 galaxies away from the universe I'm in? Because what I particularly have enjoyed about Ange's press conferences is when a journo asks an unutterably stupid question, he puts them down in the funniest but also the nicest way possible. Did anyone hear what that question was?
He went full res.
Yes, he did. He did. That's why he's my guy. That's why he's my guy, because it's sort of some of the let's be kind and call it fluff that these journos come out with. I mean, the one that made me absolutely wet myself laughing was some journalist asked him, "Can you picture yourself lifting a trophy?" And he says, "Mate, I can just look at the pictures I've got of me lifting a trophy." He's like, that's what we want managers to say. So yeah, if anyone can educate me as to what the actual question was yesterday that prompted that response, that would be brilliant. So okay, just before we move on, again, guys, if you can give us a little click of the like button and the subscribe button, we are on the. Is it fair to say, Ben, that we're on the road to 10,000 at the moment?
We're on a road to 10,000. We need to get to 9. We need to get to 9 first, but
we do need to get to 9 first. But we don't
like 9s.
It's not that we don't like them, but they're more of a signpost on the journey, aren't they? You know, they're sort of like a little marker along the way. So yeah, we're on the road to 10,000, and a like, obviously a subscribe, a comment, some kind of engagement really helps us out. We're also looking to sort of revamp the channel and, you know, start bringing you other content that we've not been doing before, you know. So yeah, please, everyone who's watching, do please give us a little like, a subscribe, a comment. Give us a comment. Tell us how we're doing. You know, there's sort of 5 of us in the crew, so to speak, now, and so someone will be able to answer at some point. It's usually me because I'm a big mouth, but you know, Kim will answer, Ben will answer, Brian will answer, and yeah, your comments would be really helpful. So we come to a yes or no question, and we'll do it we'll do it quickly at first, but then we'll talk about people's motivations and thoughts for it. Jose, do you start Madders? Yes or no?
Yes.
Ben, do you start Madders?
Yes.
I'm here. You
can hear us. Ian, do you start Madders?
Yeah, I absolutely 100% start Madders.
Fantastic.
We're talking to Ian's conscience.
We are. That's right. Jose, talk to us. Why do you start Madders? Is he going to be fit? He's had a week's training. Is he going to be on it, do you think?
I think he's actually had more than a week's training. I think he was training before the Man United game, but he got the bug that everyone else got, and therefore he wasn't risked. He was on the coach that went up to Man United. So for me, he was training pre-Man United. So therefore, since the Man United game, we've had, nearly 2 weeks off without a game. And Ange did allude to that players got given 4 days off last week. But he also said that Maddison continued training. So therefore, for me, okay, it's not match fitness is different. We all know that. But if you're trying to bring a player like Madders back and you're just going to put him on the bench after nearly 3 weeks worth of training or whatever, it's not worth it. You just play him, even if you get only 60 minutes out of him. Play him for the 60 minutes, and because we're sure as hell going to need him beyond today's game. We want Maddison to be fit and playing for us every game here on in from now to the end of the season. So let's try and get him as fit as possible and up to match fitness, because we're going to need him next Wednesday against Brentford as well. So, there we go.
Yeah. I think the important thing is you only get match fit if you're playing matches properly match fit. So absolutely. he has to play tonight. And if it's 60, 75 minutes tonight, there's some, I hate to say easier games. There's certainly some games that we might hopefully get more ahead and he can be rested in. But no, he starts tonight. This is the big game that we want to win. He's a match winning player. He's a match changing player. Has to start. Has to.
Fantastic. Ben?
Yeah, for exactly the same reasons. It's a player that can change a game, that can give a lift to the supporters and the players, just like other people said in the chat. And most importantly, it's better to play him and have him break down so you can bring on a substitute than bring him on later in the game and he breaks down. At least get him on from the start, get some blood flowing in his legs, see if that will get him going, see if he's fit enough. And let's see. We might only have to play him 45 minutes. Let's hypothetically, we play Man City, we score 3 goals in the first half, but 10 men behind the ball in the second half. Look, you might only need him 45 minutes. That's never going to happen. But get some blood flowing in his legs. Get some blood flowing, and let's see if he's fit enough. And that, again, like Ian said, you can only get fit by playing games of football. You can't get fit on a training pitch. You've got to be playing games of football.
Another super chat here from Tiger. Is it Tigaro or Tigaro? Tigaro. There you go, Tigaro. I failed to mention in my selection that Decky would take pressure off Madders in his first game back with his work rate, physicality, and technicality. So thank you for the super chat there, Tigaro. Yeah, what do you guys think? Is Kulu an integral part? Obviously, is he an integral part of the team? No, he's an extra. Yeah, of course he's an integral. But is that a function that he served? Will Madders be able to operate a bit more freely with Kulu, running up and down with his work rate?
Yeah, so to me, I went back. I did some Christmas shows on our channel, and we did a bit of crystal ball gazing. I asked who was the player of the season so far to all the people that we had during the week. And when it was my turn to speak on the last day, on the Friday, I turned around and said the unsung hero for me for the whole team. Vicario's done brilliantly. Porro's done brilliantly. But the unsung hero for me has been Kulu. Kulu has taken one for the team on many a game this season. And Kulu is integral. People may not like him playing out on the right and what he does on there, and that, but he's an integral part. His hold-up play, shithousery, and that has been absolutely immense for us. And he's a good four for Maddison. Maddison will be able. Maddison, when Maddison was playing, Maddison was finding Kulu with balls all the time. For me, he just goes under the radar as an unsung hero for me, Kulu. And I'm glad to see him back tonight.
Yeah.
Any thoughts, guys? Any other thoughts?
Yeah. I'll come in. I had a thing about Porro. I know Porro has been exceptional, His numbers are really, really good. I still worry about his defensive ability, and I worry about the number of teams that seem to focus on attacking down their left because they know that he's challengeable. We know also that Johnson hasn't set the ground on, the heather on fire yet, and I think his time will come. I would love, and I said this actually in June, that I thought that Porro would become the right-sided forward in the team because of his ability. I talk about his pace and that ability to get behind defences and deliver into the box, which I think we've not been as good at. And it won't do it tonight. Tonight's not an experimental night, but to see how Emerson did it right back, he's not let us down when he's come in, giving Porro the freedom to go up the field as the attacker and then come back and do the covering rather than the main defending. It's just a thought. I don't think it will happen tonight, but if John, particularly if we're going to play Decky in the middle. And Johnson isn't quite firing. It's just an option. I just think Porro could be really effective as the right winger as opposed to the right back.
There you go. So we're not quite there, but we're coming to the end of the show. And obviously we've got other things that I think we need to talk about. A key one is that, as you guys know, today is Australia Day. And Paul is asking what Australian Day means. It's Australia Day rather than Australian Day. And essentially, it's marking the anniversary of the landing in 1780 something or other, when people from the old world, arrived in Australia. Is the way that I've heard it described to me. I don't know what that means, but I think it's Captain Cook or someone who landed on the mainland back in 1788. So that is what Australia Day commemorates. It's Australia's national day, basically. So it's a bit like Canada Day, or I don't know. We'd probably call it St. George's Day for us as our patron saint's day, but I don't know. But it's a national celebration in Australia. From what I understand from David Shire, Australians like to get drunk and burnt. I'm guessing sunburnt. On Australia. Other than that, it's just it's just an excuse to have a holiday, which is fine by me. The more the merrier. I think there should be an Australia Day every day. But hey, what do I know? Ray the Yid has asked, do you need to renew membership every month or is it rolling? Depends, Ray, on how you do it. If you've been gifted your membership, that's only for 1 month. If you take out the membership yourself, it auto renews every month until you tell it to stop. So I hope we've answered that for you. Here's one, guys. Obviously, we're talking about Man City, and there are these odd charges, 115 of them, for breaching FFP rules. And there has been a little bit of anger from certain quarters that the Premier League have taken their time when it comes to the FFP investigations, but were very quick to drop the hammer on Everton and Nottingham Forest. Now, in the interest of fairness, I'll say this. The defence of the Premier League's inertia has been that the case against Man City is a lot more complicated.
Yeah.
However, what do you guys think? Have the Premier League been dragging their feet when it comes to Man City, or is it truly because it's just that complicated? Ben, start us off.
I want the Premier League to take as much time as physically possible with this case. If they with a case that's 98% watertight, those Manchester City lawyers will expose that 2% and get absolutely nothing. We need this case that's being presented to the Court of Arbitration of Sport eventually, because it will be. They will do what they did with UEFA, and they will take it to the Court of Arbitration of Sport to try and get through it. This case from the Premier League and the Football Association has to be stone wall, watertight, no arguments, dotting the I's and crossing the T's. It's got to be perfect in every way, shape, or form, because those City lawyers will expose it. They're very good. They're very good at what they do. That is why you employ a lawyer to expose these sort of things. So I want them to be as slow as possible. The reason they can get Everton and other teams of that is because they've got a couple of charges, which means you can go through it quickly. It takes you a lot longer to make 50 coffees than it does to make one coffee. So you get the easy ones out of the way, then you put a watertight case into getting this done. Because if they can get a watertight case of at least 50 of them, Manchester City should be sunk to the bottom of the football pyramid and never seen in the history of football again. That's the way it should be, because it's alleged. It's all alleged. We don't know. They could say hacked emails, but I don't know. I am not a lawyer. I'm not a money guy. I'm just a football fan. I'm just a coffee roaster.
Ian, your take?
Sorry. Oh yeah, where do you start with this? First of all, Ben's 100% right what he says. I think that Manchester City, as they did it with the UEFA case, have instructed David Panic Casey, who is one of the very, very top barristers out there. Everton's case was relatively straightforward. The numbers I think that they submitted stood for themselves. And as someone I think put in the chat, they admitted it. So there was really nothing much to discuss. This is a difference between, getting drunk and being a bit pissed in the street tonight and being arrested for being drunk and disorderly and admitting it on Monday morning in court, as opposed to a very, very complicated fraud case. I was reading a quote from the guy from UEFA. I can't remember his name offhand. Severin. Thank you, Benjamin. Thank you. Who said, "Look, I was a trial lawyer, and as any trial lawyer knows, now my field is employment law, so I've done a lot of tribunal advocacy, so I know exactly where he's coming from on this. That sometimes you go into court, everything's there, your witnesses are great, and you lose. Sometimes you go into court and you think, God, this is iffy." And you do the case, and think, Christ, I lost that badly. And the court comes out and says you won. And you go, how did that happen? And what Severin said was, I expected to win that case. All our ducks were in a row. We won it, and what have you. But for whatever reason, and with City, and I don't care if the libel lawyers are watching, who would put it past them to put a few million in the Swiss bank accounts of the? You wouldn't put it past them, would you?
Absolutely.
Put it past them.
Absolutely.
Ben is right. These are long, and these just don't come down to spending more money than you've got. These are about inflating your income with money that's come from your owners under the guise of being genuine income and what have you. And there's a lot of these charges. I can't remember exactly.
115.
I was going to say I thought it was around 150. That's a lot of charges, and every one of them will need to be gone through in detail, where they will put their points, and even before the case. As one judge I appeared in front of said, litigation is a game played face up, with the cards face up. So you have to declare your case, and then Manchester City come out and say, this is our defence. Those legal dramas you watch where suddenly the mystery witness comes in at the last minute and suddenly changes the case. It makes great drama, but it bears no reality, resemblance to reality. You know what the other side's case is. They know what your case is, and that's how it's done. And they are long and complicated, and there'll be expert witnesses and what have you. I know people think they're dragging their feet. It will take a while. But if they're found guilty of, more than 20, particularly 20, I think it'll be, the likelihood they brought 115 charges. They'll have a good idea that they've got the evidence to substantiate them. If they found I think it's not guilty. I think the word they use in the protocols is proven. If those allegations are found proven, then the penalties have to be stiff. I'm not in favour of title stripping, because I think it just, let's say when we were offered we given an FA Cup that we lost on the pitch. I just don't like that idea. But I agree.
Just an asterisk, I think, before.
My idea would be £100 million for every serious for every year of serious breaches, and relegation to League Two. And if they've broken the rules over, say, 9 years, you cannot play in the Premier League or Europe for 9 years. And that is an absolute deterrent to anybody else that does this. And I think football will expect not only the crime to be penalised and the way it's affected the game, but just as importantly, that it's a deterrent to anybody else, particularly a club that's owned by a nation state, to that you are not going to get away with this. You are not going to corrupt and distort our game any longer. Do something else with your money.
Absolutely. Jose?
Call the original question. Right, going back, I think from my point of view and my understanding, these are two different things that we're looking at. One is historical and it's before FFP and has to do with a lot with what Ian said. So them 115 charges are laid to that. The charges that Everton and Forest and other clubs may find themselves is something new that was brought out 3 years ago, that Levy did talk about a couple of years ago, saying that this was coming down the line. The only reason why you've got Everton and Forest at the moment is because them two clubs have admitted prior to being charged, have admitted that they've fallen foul of them rules. They are going to have a defence as to why. However, what the league haven't done is they haven't come out and actually formally charged any of the others that are probably in that boat as well, because there was up to, or it was mooted, there was up to 10 clubs that could be bought up for the last 3 seasons. 2 have mitigation in the sense of they've got new ownership, so you get a stay of execution for an extra year. But then there's 8 other teams that haven't got that. So we're waiting to hear to see whether anybody else gets charged. But there's a difference in both the charges. So I understand why fans are acting the way they are. But the Man City charges were totally separate and not under the guise of FFP as it is now.
Excellent.
That's my understanding.
That's good. We're coming to the end of the show very quickly. It's not just Australia Day today. Ash has told us that just so I feel heard, it's also Happy Republic Day in India. It's the day the Constitution came into being. I'm assuming following independence. Apparently, they like to watch a parade and drink beer. That's good.
That's my celebration.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, seriously, beer and parades. What's not to like? What's not to like?
Or you could go to my favourite establishment, New Breed Bottle Shop, and have a beer called Parade.
There you go. You see, that's right. So happy Republic Day to Ash and anyone else watching in India too.
Big up, Ash.
Big up, Ash. Yeah. So yeah, it's coming to that time. It's coming to that time. But we did have a special secret subject to talk about as well, and it's upsetty spaghetti. Ben,
yay, upsetty spaghetti. I don't know. I just like saying the word. Whenever I do a poll, I always put upsetty spaghetti, and loads of people are upsetty spaghetti, and I wonder if they've got tomato sauce or
as we've been talking about, we're doing new content on Tottenham on Tour, and I don't want to sort of be bigging myself up or boasting or anything like that, but we did a video that went out Wednesday, and it has ruffled a few feathers. It was a
pretty minor stuff, though.
Yeah, really. I mean, it was so innocuous. Basically, if you haven't seen it, it's called Res Dissect, and I do a reaction to a video
Whoever it is that week.
If we can find someone who said something egregiously stupid that we want to dissect. And I did a little piece from the Football Terrace. As you guys know, Football Terrace has a reputation for, being sometimes a bit extreme to generate some traffic and so forth. And there was a young gentleman by the name of Dan Potts on there. He's an Arsenal fan. He's got his own channel, and it's called the 12th Man Podcast.
It's always great to subscribe to everyone.
Absolutely. And he went on this piece where he was basically slagging off every single Spurs fan. He lumped all of us. He didn't say some. He didn't say the majority. He said all, right? Calling us deluded, saying that it was stupid that we were supporting Ange, essentially, all of this stuff. So I did a little stink piece back. And oh my God, has it puckered some anuses? Let's put it that way. There are people out there who seem to be running in terror of me, a poor little insignificant talking head on at the moment a smallish channel. We're hoping to grow, obviously, as if I've got the goods on them. And really, I think Ben basically summed it up best. What Res Dissects is for is that if you chat,
in the words of Jamie Vardy, chat, get banged,
right? But
we're coming for you next, Bobby K. We're coming for you next, Bobby and Cooves. Shake a dicky forest is not safe from our wrath.
That's right. But for some reason, I'm not going to name names, but I know you know who you are, have been terrified of what I might do. Are you going to do a video on me? When are you going to do this video on me? And so forth, right?
We're not doing any
got
videos.
The receipts, by the way, guys.
We're not doing any videos,
right?
We're not doing.
But yeah, if you do get a chance to check
he's
out.
next.
Yeah, that's right.
Next.
That's right.
You, Nick.
Yeah. But yeah, do go and have a watch of it.
Then we're going to do Colin and the Rain Man and Tigaro. We're going to do Tigaro, the Guardians of the Pombo. We're going to do you all.
Yeah, Daigle's next.
Daigle's next.
We're doing Daigle next.
So yeah, do go and have a watch of it, please, guys. As I say, like, subscribe, comments are great. Oh, a little super chat again. Thank you, Tigaro. That's really, really kind of you. He said these words could sing Man City on the balance of probability. This is a civil matter, not criminal. The burden of proof is lesser than in criminal.
Yeah. Can I come in on that?
Yeah, of course.
Again, putting my professional hat on it. That's a really important point. And in law, in English law anyway, on balance of probabilities means more likely than not to be true. So the burden of proof is, there's no beyond reasonable doubt. It's a 50% plus anything that makes it, as long as it's more likely to be true than not, the allegation is, I think in the protocols, the word is proven. And that means they're found proven and they're in breach of the rule. So it's very, very different. There's not a beyond all reasonable doubt that you might get if this was a fraud case in the criminal courts where you could tie the court up and tie the jury up in knots, and the panel be a 3-person panel, probably a KC or senior judge in the chair that won't put up with any shit. So, Tagaro's absolutely, and it's a really important point about this, about what the burden of proof is and how far the process, the wrong word, but the prosecutors have to go to have their charges proven.
There you go. That's it for the show, guys. It's been an experience. It's been epic. Thank you to everyone in the chat. Really, again, the love you bring is fantastic. Okay, and I will beg one more time, if you do get the opportunity, you've got 2 seconds when the stream is finished, just refresh the page and leave a comment giving us some feedback. That would be really great. Thank you to the lovely panel that have dragged themselves from various. Are
we doing the scores, Rose, or not?
Oh, yes, we didn't do the scores. Okay, yeah, very quickly. Jose, you can go first because you're keen. Score tonight.
2-0 Tottenham.
2-0 Tottenham. Fantastic. Who are going to get the goals?
Romero and Richarlison.
Excellent. Ian?
Don't 3-0. Don't give a fuck who scores the goals.
You just demonetized us, Ian.
Damn it.
Okay.
No,
right.
one swear word's not a problem.
Two to Richarlison and 1 to Werner. That would be absolutely wonderful.
Fantastic. And Ben?
I'm going to go 1-0 Tottenham, and I'm going to say a returning goal for James Maddison.
Genius stuff.
That would be great as well.
Fantastic. So, Jose, where can we find you? Where do you go? Where do you hide? From when? From where do you proclaim forth?
My lovely?
So I've got my own personal channel called Tell Cockerel, but I co-host on Talk and Ball with Colin. We've got a show coming up in an hour's time, which will be hosted by Ash and Chang. So it's match day view from Asia at 11 o'clock. So it's on in an hour. So if you want to go and support Ash and Chang and the channel, then please head over for 11 o'clock. And then Colin and I will be doing a show today, the Rev Up Show at 4 o'clock on Talk and Ball.
Brilliant stuff.
Ian, where can we find you?
Yeah, I don't have my own show, but I go on when I'm wanted. I do a fair bit of this.
When you pay the appearance fee, Ian.
Appearance fee.
No,
Kuva was at my door last night begging for money, so I gave him my appearance fee. But it's becoming a joke. Appearance
He's
fee.
moved. He's moved.
I've been sacked from Talk and Ball, but I'll plead with him. I'll go to the appeal stage. I think.
Listen, it's your own fault, Ian. Okay, when you ask for steaks covered in gold foil, yeah.
When what? Sorry, I must have misheard that. Sorry.
I said when you order steaks covered in gold foil, you know, so that Salt Bay bellend who puts gold leaf on his steak.
Yeah. So I just do shows as and when I'm around and I'm invited. So and if people are around, you can follow me at Shaggy1712 on X or Twitter. Always follow Spurs supporters back. Always good to get some banter on that as well.
Fantastic. And Mr. Koff, slightly under the weather as we know you are. Yeah. Where are we going to find you next?
You'll find us later on the Coffee Company with Mr. Daigle. It is that time of the year. Daigle's got a cat that needs to be named. So get over there. We're going to be naming some cats today. So get over there. Hopefully I will perk up a bit in the afternoon. I'm still feeling a bit stuffed up. But get over to the Coffee Company. It would really help us out a lot. And we've got some transfer deadline day stuff next Thursday. We're going to be doing transfer deadline day. And we're going to be doing it in a very different way.
Yes. It's going to be transatlantic.
Yes.
Yeah. There you go. Fantastic. You can find me, I don't know, propping up drunks near a bridge, shaking my fist at a cloud, and generally just talking stuff, really. Thank you to everyone for joining us today. It's been an absolute blast. Do like, subscribe, comment, and share. And as always, come on, you Spurs.
And
Come on, you Spurs.
What the cough is brewing.
In that.